Okay, guys, can you get your notebooks out for me? I want you guys on, forget what page you guys are on, but go to the next page, and I want you to divide this up. Go off of that right there. And then what I like to do sometimes here is to make sure you can do a quick, because we're going to make a line this way too. I like to fold this paper up, keep it clean, and then it's easier for me to make my line this way too. What we're doing today is a 6th grade standard, and you went over it in some 7th grade concepts, and now 8th grade we're just going to do the same kind of concept, but each week we're going to kind of level up and get a little more intense with it. So you were introduced to it in 6th grade. 7th grade you went a little deeper, and then we're just going to do the same in 8th grade, go a little more intense with it. So we are solving equations. So right down the top, solving equations. And this word equation, okay? I'm going to put this on the side here. This is just not for you to write down. This is just a concept for you to kind of think about. I'm going to put this on the side here. I want you to think, if we just, you don't have to write this. If you look at these two are different, right? These two different, and I didn't say word because they're even called different words. So this one here is called, up here, it's called an expression. And what we do is we would usually simplify an expression, okay? Here is called a equation. Now the difference between these two is you see an equal sign. Equation. You should see equation has equation in it, all right? So equation. Now, for this one, 3 plus 5, 8. Does 8 equal 8? Yep. And we remember this kind of stuff from our last unit too. When we would get to this, we would try to find the y-intercept, right? And we'd have like 2x plus 4, and then we'd have like, 2 here, and then 8 here. Does this work? Does 8 equal eventually 8? 2 times 2 plus 4? And that is a little bit similar. But this idea, what if I said 3 plus x equals 8? All right? That's the kind of stuff. That's an equation, and we don't simplify equations. We solve them. Okay? We solve them. Now, that was just a quick review of what equations are. Now let's get into the actual idea here of, I'm going to put a couple equations up here. I'm going to put x plus 4 equals 10. All right? I'm going to put x minus 4 equals 10. All right? You're going to see some similar stuff here. I'm going to do 4x equals, we'll just put 24. And then we're going to write, let's see, x over 4 equals 10. So I just put down 4 different equations. Now there's no negatives, except you could call that negative 4 there. But I kept them very simple, and I want to go ahead and attack this in the way that you are supposed to attack your equations. Now again, this is day 1. We're going to practice this a ton, this unit. But day 1 equation skills, I want to make sure this pen works. We are going to always first step, and we'll do some flow maps as well, but your first step is a separation bar off of the equal sign. This is where you're going to keep your work from one side to the next. You're moving this, you're going to be moving work back and forth from the separation bar, basically. But your separation bar is down here. And then your final step here, I'd like you guys to actually write this for me, what this is going to be at the end. It's super important for me to, you have this here, okay? And all right, so that there, and I like to put clouds around my answer, but I want to make sure you see how we're going to get to our final answer. What do you notice about each one of these is that the x is all alone with the equal sign. The x is all alone with the equal sign. Could you write this up here? One of our biggest things we need to do, isolate the variable. That's one of our biggest ideas. We need to isolate the variable. Isolate the variable. I'm going to put, that's one huge note. And I'm going to put one more over on this type here. I know this is kind of weird. The notes are kind of weird, but it's okay. Up here, I want you to write opposite operation. In the math book, they're going to call it the inverse operation, the inverse. So inverse and opposite, and I'm going to put that there too. Inverse, like almost like reverse, the inverse. So the inverse operation. All right. So what does operations mean? So this one, and I'm going to write this up here. This one is an addition. All right. So I'm going to put that up here in pencil. Addition. This one is a subtraction. All right, this one. So addition, that plus 4, subtraction. This one right next to each other, 4 and x right next to each other. Multiplication. Multiplication, I know it's hard to see, multiplication. And then this one, this fraction, that is going to be a division. And hopefully you guys remember the opposite of addition is subtraction, okay? Opposite of multiplication is division, and vice versa. Division, multiplication, subtraction, addition. All right, let's get into this. So to finish this problem and solve it, we're going to go into each step here. For this one, for an addition, to get rid of this, we're going to do the opposite of the plus 4. So we're going to go ahead and just subtract 4. All right? You do the opposite, and you do it to both sides, okay? So you subtract 4 to both sides. When you do that, you get 0 here. That cancels out. The way you're able to move this over is by doing the opposite. So this gets to move over, and 10 minus 4 is 6. X equals 6. And let's see, does it actually work? Does it make sense? If I plug in 6 here, 6 plus 4 does equal 10. All right, we're starting simple. I know these are simple. Obviously, the problems you're going to have later on are going to be a little more intense, okay? Don't worry. Now, I do want to show you, though. So look at how this looks, and I'm going to do this one more time. What if I did it backwards? All right? And that's not backwards. It's just written in reverse almost, like the 10's on this side now. Is it the same problem? Yeah. We would still do the same idea over here, and you would still get the same answer, okay? Don't get that mixed up. The x just has to get by itself. All right, let's keep going. We're going to go ahead and look at this side. We're going to go ahead and instead of subtraction, it's a subtraction, so we're going to do the opposite of subtraction. We're going to go ahead and add 4 to both sides, okay? Add 4 to both sides, 10 plus 4. Well, hold on, this gets to be 0, right? Negative 4, positive 4. 10 plus 4, 14. Okay. All right, multiplication. We're going to go ahead and, this is 4 times x. What is the opposite of multiplication? Remember we talked about this? So instead of multiplying, we're going to go ahead and divide 4 to both sides. 4 over 4, that turns into 1 whole, right? Just 1. And isn't there an invisible 1 in front of that? I could say there's an invisible 1 here in front of that x. Does that make sense? There's an invisible 1 always in front of the x. I don't know if you guys knew that. There's a 1 in front of it. All right, so now I have 4 into 24. 4 divided into 24 is 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. And the last one, division. We're going to go ahead and, this is a division of 4. So we're going to go ahead and multiply 4 to both sides. And this looks kind of confusing, but if you were to multiply this, you would get 4x over 4, which looks similar to this side, right? Because you multiply straight across, which turns into 1, just x. So this crosses out, cancels. That 4, though, we're multiplying 4 to both sides. So 10 times 4 is 40. All right? A little challenging. Don't worry. You're going to be fine. Okay? We're going to switch gears now and get into a Desmos. So right now, if you could for me, I'm actually going to assign it. But I want you to take a look at it. I'm going to assign it to you guys, but I want you to take a look. I'm going to go through this step by step. So if you wanted to go into your Google Classroom right now, and actually I can't put it in your classroom. Let's see what I can do here. I can still do this. I can assign this right now. And I can have you guys right now get into this code here. That's the code. Open up, you're going to go to student.desmos.com, okay? Student.desmos.com, and you're going to put that code in. Go ahead and keep doing that. Now get in there. The sub can pause the screen to make sure everyone gets in. And you can go slide by slide through this. I'm going to go real quickly kind of through it so you can see what's going on. So which is the one step to solve the equation? You could figure out kind of here. All right. So you're going to do what? Eventually look at your notes. You're going to put here, you're going to add 2 to both sides. And you would type that in here as well. Okay. You got to solve all of these slides for me. This is part of your classwork. All right, here. What are you going to do here? Get rid of this -5. All right, to both sides. Keep going. Okay, this one's cool. I like this one because it shows you what the work is in the box. There's a separation bar. What are you going to put in the box? You can actually answer this. We're going to add 2 to both sides. And then you finish it for me. Make sure these are not going to be added. It's not going to be 11. What are you going to do? All right. What's the step here? Look at your notes. Look at your notes. Show me how you're going to do this one. Remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Ooh, I gave you a little help there. Okay. Use your notes. I want to see clear explanations on this. Use your notes. All right, let's go. You got this. Ooh, this is a good one. Remember, pretend there's a -1 here. So it's -1c equals 25. What would you do? You cannot have a negative be your final answer. That's not isolating the variable. The variable has to be by itself without a negative. So you're going to divide -1 to both sides. All right, explain that for them, or for Miss Santos. All right, same idea here. There's a 1 there. Oh, this one's cool. I want you to match up answers with questions. So I like to use these matching cards. These are fun. When you do have a match, I'll show you with one of them. Let's see. For this one, you're going to divide -6 and a -24, and you're going to get +4. So I'm going to take 4, and I have to have it connect. It has to actually be connected. See, there it turns blue if it's connected. All right, that has to happen. All right. And this last slide, if you have some extra time at the end of class, you can go ahead and click this and get signed in and just hit the play button. You are going to have some homework. That button should say play there. Here, continue anyways. You could sign in. It says I'm a guest right now, but you could sign in and start doing some of these puzzles. They get more challenging. So what could this be? Could triangle be 6? And then let's see, this be 4? Oh, that doesn't work. So what should it be? If it's going to be balanced, could it be 5 and 5 and submit? Would that work? Now this one's super simple. As you get more challenging, see, they get a little spicier for sure. Okay, play around with this. I have no problem. If you have some extra time at the end of class, go for it. Play with these slides if you'd like. But I also have some homework for you guys. Okay, you don't get a lot of paper homework, so this is fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry. This is pretty simple. I want you to take your time. I'm gonna go through a lot of this with you guys. Okay. So every time you solve, all right, you got your pencil always, come on guys, and just give me some separation bars here. And they'll start to go real simple, all right? This one, you're gonna subtract 8 to both sides, okay? And you're gonna get 18 equals V, all right? You can do these, all these. This one might be a little more interesting. You're gonna go ahead and you gotta get the n by itself, right? Well, the n's on this side. Let me get rid of the -15 by going, +15 here. -9, +15, I'm going to get 6. Okay, so keep going through this. The first side's pretty simple. No big deal. Let's go down here. This is a big one. We're going to divide 8. Now, if you didn't know that, you could use your calculator. I have no problem with that. But if you wanted to show some skills that you learned in 7th grade, you could do a little long division for me. No big deal. And that's going to be negative. See this negative divided by positive? You got to know your rules. Negative divided by positive is going to be negative. Okay? And we know a lot of this. All right, so this first side's not too tough. This last one here, you're going to subtract or multiply 18 to it, and it'll cancel out. The second side, I'd like you to try to. It's going to get a little more challenging. No big deal. You can do this. Super simple. This doesn't take long. You guys cry about any kind of work you have to do. Don't cry about this. It won't take you that long. It'll take you 10 to 15 minutes tops, if that. And I'm doing a lot of these with you. For this one, you're going to divide -15. Anytime you're dividing with a 0 on top, the answer is going to be 0, okay? Ooh, 11 into 143, let's see. Again, you could use your calculator if you need to, all right? If you want to go ahead and figure it out this way, I got 13. And why is it positive? Because it's negative divided by a negative. All right, guys, you got this. if you finish early today, I would like you to go back with your Desmos into the puzzles and do that for the rest of the period. If you finish your homework early. Good job, guys. Best of luck. Miss Santos will be back tomorrow.